one will be massive. Legacy 2026, the Independence Edition. Saturday, February 7th, 8 p.m., Rodney Bay Pavilion. It's the big war. Legacy presents one of the Caribbean's greatest artists ever. The undisputed queen of soca, Destra. Yes, Destra Garcia. Destra. Then our groovy giants, Teddyson John, doing his vintage set.
I must have a woman to come and wine up on me.
And King Appa. Plus the outstanding St. Lucian cast, a mix of legends and rising stars. Ashanti, Educator, Desro, Manchas, Black Eye, Short Pants and more. Legacy 26 will be an epic show. Saturday, February 7th, 8 p.m., Rodney Bay Pavilion. Limited early birds $120, regular $150. Tickets available at Steve's Barbershop and The Way. Sponsored by Republic Bank, Massey Stores, First Citizen, IBS Solutions, Piton Bear, Crystal Clear Water, Flow, and the Independence Committee.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay By Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The CDC opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosile Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosile.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. the man.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and the producer, alongside our technical operator, Alton Jaquan Joseph. On another wonderful Thursday afternoon, it is the 29th day of the month of January 2026. Our program, as you know, airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on the platforms of the radio station Real FM that serves you on the dual frequencies of 91.3 megahertz for the north, 91.5 for the south. Also on NBC Television, channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. We are on Facebook Live and on YouTube live streaming as well. It is a beautiful day, I have to say. It is sunny, it is bright, it is clear, and despite being sunny, it's not oppressively hot. We expect that could come later in the year, but for the time being, we're thankful for the mercies and the joys of life, and the weather at present being one of them. The annual Independence Baton Relay is underway, was launched yesterday. And someone sounding rather impassioned about it has just called before the program started to say, Shelton, can you please get that message out to Yassi Steele, I suppose to Isai Hall and whoever else is associated with the Baton Relay closely, that the St. Lucia flag must never be seen being dragged along the ground. And there are two young people holding it. She didn't say, I don't know whether it's because of their heights. I don't know, it's whether because it's kind of inadvertent. They don't realize that it's happening. They're oblivious to it, but she said she saw the flag, and I guess she must have been watching the TV at the time. I haven't been watching it in the last 10 or so minutes since I made my way into the studio. So tell them that at no time must the flag be dragging on the ground. So do something about that. I hope that they can hear or someone can convey the message. I think she made the point that what we should be doing is raising our flag, raising it up, raising it higher, not letting it katwini ate. And it's something I can't disagree with, even though I didn't see it myself. But to all who are involved in the organization, in the execution, in the progress, in the implementation of the annual Baton Relay, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, Local Government Minister Honorable Richard Frederick, Ms. Yassi Steele, Castri's City Councillor, and all others, Isai Hall, I wish you the very best for success. Another successful annual Baton Relay. I think it's a good activity. I think it's a good vibe. I think it's good for stoking the national consciousness, the national pride, as we head into St. Lucia's anniversary of independence. And it's going to be just 3 more years. So we're at 47 almost. It's just going to be 3 more years when we'll be marking 50 years of St. Lucia's political independence from the UK. All right. I want to say happy birthday. I don't know if you got that. I sent it. Happy birthday to a wonderful lady. She's the wife of a wonderful gentleman, so she's got to be a wonderful lady. And that's the wife of Bernard Haynes, a St. Lucian resident in New York. A very good, very kind person, very helpful person, even from such a long distance. So to Mistress Bernard Haynes, I can't remember your first name, so don't believe I'm being, in any way suggesting. A lot of people accuse you of sexism very fast. But Mistress Bernard Haynes, a happy birthday to you today. All right, let me just show a couple of pictures. He has been in St. Lucia. I think he came down. I don't know if it's for elections. I don't know if he would just had to come down end of the year, but he is one of the persons who's been very active in the Real Issues group, calling our program, participating on the Facebook Live, interacting and so on, and also on the Real Issues WhatsApp chat group. Jude Harlow, who goes by the nickname Pokes. I think he hails from Mico South as the constituency part of St. Lucia, where he's from. Pokes has really been, I have to say, a dynamo of energy in terms of animating the group, keeping the spirit alive and so on, hailing up everybody. Sometimes I say, this guy finds this time to always been giving everybody a shout out. And he obviously is a hardworking man. I think he's in the same areas of work as Bernard Haynes. And that is in the building trades and so on. And Pokes is in Canada while Bernard is in the USA. And I think I overheard him telling somebody that he moved out of the province of Ontario recently and is now in the province of Alberta. All right, whatever that means, folks. I wish you the very best. But yesterday he came over by another friend of mine who's got a little restaurant eating place over at Point Seraphim, just where the fisheries complex is. I always go there. Former schoolmate of mine, retired police inspector Hilary Les Flores, and his wife Glory. It's called Glory's Chicken, actually. Kitchen, sorry. Actually named after his wife, I think. Is that a real name? Sometimes I say things and I believe, take it for granted. Like, let's say, Madame Lapierre. But, who cares? When I go there, it's family. We're all nice and good and so on. Treat me well. And yesterday I was there enjoying a particularly delicious meal of Glory's Kitchen. All the food is good, But yesterday it was stewed backs, stewed backs with ground provision, and salad and lettuce. And I think she does her own made grapefruit juice and ginger ale and so on. And I was there enjoying it. When up comes this guy in front of me, Pokes is right there. He'd been trying to meet me, but I've been so busy with Terry being, away a lot of the time due to the passing of his mother, who was laid to rest yesterday. So I was never sure which day I would be alone. And then, of course, having to co-host Zafenu these days. So, been kind of busy with that and so many other things. So he'd been trying to come on. I'd been interested in having him on the program. He wasn't quite ready when I was. But Jude Pokes Harlow, showed up with his friend. It turns out that Hilary Lestros is also his good friend. He has a nickname. I didn't hear anybody calling Hilary before him, Slycat. So he and Slycat, showed up to my great and very pleasant surprise. It was a brief time, but we had a very good time together. Really enjoyed meeting you in person, Pokes. And it's so sad, I think he's leaving St. Lucia today. But God is good. I think we'll bounce up again. So that's me there, If my mouth looks a little weird, it's because it was full of food of the chicken backs and whatever that I was enjoying to the max and so on. But I still found time to share a little word with him. And but he had to leave pretty soon. Turns out he's a friend of Hilary's brother, who I met sometime last year or year before, Aloysius Les Flores. Some of them, the name is spelled Les Porus. Some of them Les Flores. The mistakes that they make in this birth certificate that often requires extensive rectification and so on. But they're all brothers. And the Les Porus or Les Flores is all derived. When I went to school together with Hilary, or Yellow, as many people would call him, like I said, great athlete, in his days when we were at school and so on. I struggled, to keep up with this guy. This guy, when he made off, he was like a hare for you to catch him. You really had to push very hard and so on. Myself, I could run a decent 100, 200, 400 meters and so on. You won't believe it now that you see us. Was a great cop too. Had a motorcycle accident. A very, very friendly, quiet, and nice fellow. And so, Pokes, it turns out, knows a bit of the family and so on. And I guess the Seventh-day Adventist faith, for which he is an adherent and which Hilary's wife is. So they came there. We had a brief but very nice time together. The other picture, you showed it already? You showed the one with the food by my mouth and so on? Yeah, the mark of food and so on, eating and then posing for a picture. But, being the handsome fella that I am, you can find me as ugly as possible, chewing some, food and so on. I'm still nicer than a lot of the guys, Oh, yeah. Not Jaquan, he's a young and good-looking fellow. So turning away from the joy of the birthday and reminiscing on my encounter with Jude Pokes Harlow, like I said, a really good guy. You should see him in those groups and so on. Sometimes if the group is feeling a little down and weary, this is the guy who fires it up, with his interventions and hellos and what's up and so on to everybody. Really can lift the mood. But we learned of the passing of a gentleman that I knew personally, Mr. Noel Cadas. Now, Mr. Noel Cadas was the founder, I think, and owner of one of St. Lucia's foremost insurance companies, and I think the pride in it was that it was a locally owned, locally managed insurance company. I don't know if it started with him, but he's the one I remember called First National Insurance Company, and the name speaks for itself, just like you have a First National Bank, First National Insurance Company. That must have suggested that it was the first locally formed, managed, whatever insurance company. One of my siblings worked for that insurance company for him for a number of years. I can't remember if that's where I met him, but in my experience with Mr. Kadas, he was a nice gentleman. People may have had whatever else they said about him. To me, he was always respectful. He was always very polite, whether he met me in person or whether, he called me on the phone from time to time to make a suggestion that there's some things that maybe in his capacity as whatever it was at the time, Chamber of Commerce, Insurance association, whatever, tell me, we're engaging in negotiations and I think we want to give it a chance. So I don't know if you mind toning down, on what, no, you're not doing anything wrong, just, so that nobody gets antagonized. And he had this kind of diplomatic way about him. It was not overbearing or bullying or talking down, to anybody. So there was a time when his businesses, it seemed in succession, began to fail. And like I reported on any other, I would have reported on the fact that, this insurance company is shutting down and so on. And he met a sibling of mine and said, well, what does Shelton have against me? And I said, what could I have against him? Just reporting on the fact that First National or Caribbean Hotel, which was his property again, was in receivership. It doesn't mean I'm trying to mess him up or whatever. Businesses were closing, businesses close all the time. That happens, in the wake of or before the global economic crisis and a whole lot of things. A lot of business here and many other places in the Caribbean and the world were shuttering. So I hadn't spoken to him for a very long time. Not because of that. Mr. Kadas, apart from First National and Caribbean, I'm naming only two that come to mind. I think at some point he was also the chairman or deputy chairman of the St. Lucia Labour Party. So he was a Labourite, and that was in the days of Dr. Kenny Anthony. I attended many things at the Caribbean Hotel, which went into receivership. It was taken over by, I think, a Guyanese company called Cara Suites. It went through some iterations. At some point, I believe it was being managed by another schoolmate of mine and good friend, Ian Fowell, if I remember well. Ian Fowell was managing it and so on. It also seemed to have gone through some hard times. But when you're in business and when you're not in business, when you've never owned a business, when you've never operated or managed a business, it's very easy to pass judgment and to sneer at people who have gone from businesses that have failed. But at least they put their feet on their heads where most of us don't even think of. We would fear. If we had the means and the money to invest, we would never do it. Businesses has a lot of risk taking. It's a lot of chance taking. Things can go well, things can go bad, things can go good today and take a dive tomorrow and a whole lot of things. But Noel Kadas was a man who was not afraid to sow those seeds and to stay the course, to see whether, to see how he could make things succeed. And I got a sense he was a man of a never give up, never say die kind of thing. I understand that he had been ailing for some time from some serious illnesses that he suffered, which may have included kidney failure, needing a kidney transplant. So, but he made it to the good old age of 80, which those of us who believe in the Bible, again, it says, that the ordinary years of our life, not exactly in those words, are 70. And if by some special vigor that we have in us, we make it to 80. So he went the full, as we would say, the full 9 yards of life. He reached the upper limit, not that that's the oldest people can reach, but Noel Kadas reached the ripe old age of 80. I want to extend my condolences to his family, immediate and extended. I only know by name and in person 3 of his children. He probably has more, but these are the 3 that I know person to person. One of them I collaborated with a lot on various projects that had to do with queen shows and, what we call the impresario kind of role and so on. Joycey Medrick. Yes, he doesn't have the name Kadas, but Joycey Medrick is his daughter. We collaborated very closely on a lot of things that, we would call beauty competitions and that thing, which he's very good at. I represented the sponsors and she did the actual organizing and recruiting, of mostly the ladies and so on. And then I know another fine gentleman called Mr. Ross Kadas. So it's not long ago when we were on the other side. I don't know if you were working with me yet, Jaquan, that he came over, Mr. Kadas. And I think he is resident in Canada. He is at one time, I think, the president of the St. Lucia, Canada, some association or body of that kind. I can't remember, but he was brought along by Miss Chelsea Jonge, who was a lady that we'll be having some more conversations with, as we've had already. And the third offspring or child Mr. Kadas that I know of is from Monrepo, at least her mother, Miss Elizabeth Charles, more commonly known in the community as Myrtle. I think that's her only child, a daughter called Lisa. Lisa Charles is also Mr. Kadas's daughter. And, so to all of them, to Lisa, to Ross, to Joycey, and to everybody else who Mr. Kadas was related to, whose lives he touched and so on, who knew him personally, I really want to say, and talking about Monrepo, I think one of the first managers of First National Insurance was a gentleman who hails from Monrepo, Mr. Clinton Shalry. Yeah, Mr. Clinton Shalry was the manager of First National, if I remember well, for a very long time. So, Monrepo, where I was mostly raised and so on, born in Dennery, early life there, but, Monrepo, there was always that connection. My parents, who were originally from Monrepo, settled in Dennery and so on, were relatives on both sides. So to all those people who knew Mr. Noel Kadas, my condolences, okay? I remembered that Miss Sylvia Kadas is a member of the Real Issues WhatsApp group, and I immediately called her and said, your name Kadas, and she said, he was my husband's uncle. So, so many people, whether by marriage or whatever, who may have been related and so on, I am saddened to note, even though his age was such, I am saddened to note the passing of Mr. Noel Kadas. All right, so much for that. What else did I have to say before I open the phone lines? It's already a few minutes to 1. Chakon, what else did I pass on to you that I don't forget already? That was it? Okay, yes, that voice note. Somebody messaged me today to say they haven't heard about Gasper in a while. And the Gasper they're talking about is Gasper Henry, who is the CEO of Feed the Poor Ministries, all right? Now, let me get the actual message that the person sent to me, where they said, I want to read it, and then I forwarded it to Gasper, who took not very long to respond, and it's a very encouraging response, where the individual said, "Hi, good morning, comrade. Is Gasper okay? I've not heard from him this year on either your show." Oh, Zafir, no. You see how people can get accustomed to you and how they can miss you. So, I forwarded that to Gasper, and this was his response. We'll put his picture on the screen. Gasper is okay. All right. He explained why.
Yeah, whoever it is that reached out to me, yeah, thanks, I lost my uncle about 2 weeks ago. We just buried him, and my wife brother has just passed away. So we're looking to bury him. Yeah, I've had 2 deaths very close to me, and I just decided to just take a little pause to get myself rejuvenated. Yeah, but everything is okay. It is. I'm well with my soul, and thanks to whoever it is that has reached out. Yeah, I doing okay. Otherwise, yeah, man, it's just a little death in the family. So I decided to just, take a little time to just see it off. But I've been following the programs. I've been following Shelton. I've been following Jaime, Yeah. But all the best, yeah. Well, yeah. As soon as I bury my brother-in-law, I will make my little contributions as usual. But everything's safe otherwise. Enough respect, huh? Bye-bye. Blessings.
All right. And I played this because, I appreciate people inquiring about others. It's sad when the next thing you hear about somebody is that they're gone in an accident and or they were sick and you didn't know, whatever. So something happened this week. Somebody sent me a message saying that they heard that Timothy Polion is hospitalized. So that set off alarm bells for not many reasons. People can get hospitalized, but having just lost Lisa Joseph, who was a former co-worker of mine, as I said, at Radio St. Lucia, we remain good with each other, nice in talking even over the phone and so on. I said, oh my goodness me. Shelton DeWitt, next thing you hear, some dread news about Timothy, who was a former co-worker of mine at Radio Caribbean. For a long time, and a good friend, somebody who was supportive. I've told many people this account and so on, that Timothy Polion knew. In fact, when people who were in the Labour Party were telling me, if I don't know Polion is a flambeau, he's a flambeau. And I used to tell them, I see nothing about that to show that he's political or he cares about politics. And I'm going to tell you something, which to this day, it stays with me. We may have diverged on our views in terms of how he hosts his talk show and the positions he takes and how he treats. But people diverge and they differ in things, you know. But I'm going to tell you, in my life, there are a few people, he's not the only one, who stood up for me when I was under political attack at Radio Caribbean because of my ties to the Labour Party. And one of the people who stood up for me and defended me and made a point of saying to the manager, please do not be influenced into taking any action against Shelton because of what these people are saying, you know, was Timothy Polion. I'm saying for all what people were saying about how he's a flabber, whatever, he knew because Julian Hunt's office, you know, the Hunt's International Packing and Storage, the building, was just next to Radio Caribbean, which was in the Agriculturist Association building. You know how those two buildings, they almost stick on each other, you know. So I used to come to Radio Caribbean early in the morning to do my work. I think there was a new package called the Daybreak News. There was also, and then just cross over to Julian's office to go and do my work for him as his press secretary / personal assistant. So it was, nobody was in any doubt or in the dark about my labor connections and my connections. And at the time, I'm telling you, I was under attack orchestrated especially by two gentlemen who are now departed, namely Romanus Lancico, who was the Minister of Information, and Mr. Joe Cox, Emmanuel Joe Cox, who was the government's press secretary or principal information officer, whatever his role was. And those guys used to say a lot of threatening things to the manager about if he does not do something about Shelton Daniel, if it's Shelton Daniel who that's running Radio Caribbean. Joe Cox threatened to come and to nab the manager, Mr. Christian Bonnell, I think was his name, and personally drive him to the airport to deport him out of St. Lucia. A whole lot of things on account of me. You know what I'm telling you? Timothy Polion never wavered at that time, you know, in terms of the support. There were others too, you know, who were very supportive of me. McNaughton McLean, the late, what was her name, Pet Augustine. She later became Pet Gibson, married to Sikra Gibson and some others. These people stood up for me at Radio Caribbean, and I have never forgotten that. Timothy was no exception, and I've always appreciated that, no matter how much people say. And there were other things of jealousy and whatever. Some people came in and he stood for me. No matter what a person is in terms of politics, that's why I tell you, I will never hate people for politics, because some of the people who have been the nastiest to me in my days at Radio St. Lucia especially were people who were supposed to have been labor people, cheerleader people. I have experienced kindness and love from people who were known Flabo people. This is why I tell you, nobody is making me come and say nasty things about Stephen Favre. In his own stead, his parents, I experienced the love, the unconditional love of those people. I experienced good treatment. When you hear me talking well of Malika Compton, who I met working on, was it Scotia or whatever, bank on the boulevard. I can never forget that lady, even when I don't see her in person. But the image of her smile flashes before my face anytime I think I have experience, and I'm not throwing people away because of politics. So I messaged Timothy and I said, TP, you know, which is how I call him, you know, good afternoon and Happy New Year. I don't know if this is still your number or if what I heard that moved me to message you is true. But someone told me they heard you are or have been hospitalized. If that is the case, then I wish you the best for speedy and complete recovery. All right? And I sign it, Josima, Teddy Francis, McNaughton McLean, Timothy himself, they know what that stands for. He replies, which is the short for Josima. Hi, Josie. Thanks for touching base. Regarding my supposed hospitalization, this is fake news. I'm okay. Cheers. I just put back the how you call this, the emoji of praises, you know, thanks and praises to him and so on, and I left it at that. I'm glad to know that Timothy Polion is okay. If I could say anything here to lengthen his life, then let his life be lengthened. I don't care what Lisa was doing with Martinez and all this kind of thing. It obviously didn't work. That was a person I worked with, and I could see she could work, productive. I could walk out of the newsroom and be confident that she would hold things together and that it's not a case she would do some magic. Timothy Polion, his good-heartedness towards me, it trumps and transcends everything, even though we diverge on the fleeting things of maybe politics and maybe how you handle your talk show and this kind of thing, which everybody has their discretion. You know, I am labor to the core and to the bone. Me maka hai PS moon lapiti politics, because sometimes those you consider to be your own, those you consider to be the family, they are the hands that hold the dagger and cannot wait to plunge it into your back. That's the Real Issues. It's 1 o'clock. We take a break. Real Issues is powered by Blue Waters. We'll be back shortly to begin taking your calls and your messages.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
This one will be massive! Legacy 2026, the Independence Edition, Saturday, February 7th, 8 p.m., Rodney Bay Pavilion. It's the big war! Legacy presents one of the Caribbean's greatest artists ever, the undisputed queen of soca, Destra! Yes, Destra Garcia! Destra! Then our groovy giants, Teddyson John, doing his vintage set.
I must have a woman to come and wine up on me.
And King Alpha. Plus the outstanding St. Lucian cast, a mix of legends and rising stars. Ashanti, Educator, Desro, Manchas, Black Eye. Short pants and more. Legacy 26 will be an epic show. Saturday, February 7th, 8 p.m. Rodney Bay Pavilion. Limited early birds $120. Regular $150. Tickets available at Steve's Barber Shop and The Way. Sponsored by Republic Bank, Massey Stores, First Citizen, IBS Solution, Piton Bear, Crystal Clear Water, Flow, and the Independence Committee.
Come on
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway. Call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real Issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into and staying with The Real Issues, powered by Blue Waters, on this Thursday, day 29 of month number 1 of year 2026. And we'll soon be opening the phone lines for your calls and your messages. Thank you very much, Sandra Edmond, who goes by the well-known nickname Glenda, who says, yes, 2 young children. I suspect she probably means Noel Kadas has 2 younger children than the one that I named or mentioned. I don't know them, like I said. I only know 3 of his children, Joycey, Ross, and Lissa. And I'm sure perhaps there are others, maybe several others, but I just don't know them, never met them, at least not that I can remember. And Glenda also says, please send Blessed Thursday to Sir Julian Robert Hunt and Dr. Kenny. I'm sure she means Dr. Kenny Anthony from Glenda, right? So these greetings have been spoken to them. Let me see. Somebody sent a message a while ago that I wanted to read. Let me see if I can get that one. Oh boy. I think here somebody said, I lost my car insurance money to Candwell Insurance. I got to know the former police constable Noel Kadas in the Kiwanis Club of St. Lucia in the early 1980s. Wow, that was a long time. So he was a former policeman. Okay, I think he had a lot of family down in Ancillary. I think he had strong connections in Ancillary. He always acknowledged that. And I do remember, I think after First National folded or went into receivership or whatever happened, that yes, there was a Candwell Insurance Agency that subsequently also folded. He went through some difficult times, challenging times with his businesses. I believe there was also the whole GTM insurance, which was acquired by First National or was part of a group. But, trying to recall those things from memory can be a little risky. But I'm sure the person who sent this message would be familiar with those things a lot better than I can. Yeah, he faced a lot of this receivership thing and all of that to try to reorganize and so on, but he didn't. Good afternoon to you, Muriel, who says, good afternoon to you, Shelton. Have a great afternoon. Stay safe. Thank you very much for always sending these greetings, Muriel. Appreciate it greatly. All right. What else is there to look at? Gasper says, thanks. And I'll have to look at the Facebook Live, which I don't do often enough. But let me look at another place where I saved several messages so that I could have come back to them and deal with them when there was a lot more time. Wow. Blessed love to my loving friend, Teacher Jean of Leclerc, coming from Empress Bobo with love. That's Empress Bobo from Soufre. Thank you very much for that. I'm sure the person, Teacher Jean, who, if listening, would hear the greeting coming from you. All right. On Monday, while I was on Zafeno, we had 2 customs representatives, a customs officer and a customs inspector. I think the inspector is of senior rank, and a lot of messages came in. But there was a question where someone asked which ministry is responsible for the distress fund. And we got an answer that the distress fund was and is administered by the office of the Prime Minister. So if we had said anything otherwise, this is correcting it. And I think someone wanted to know where Honorable Richard Frederick's office is, and someone had said that the office is on the 7th floor of the Castries car park, but he operates on the 1st floor of the building behind the Lucilec building at Point Seraphine, which we believe is the finance administrative center building that is at Point Seraphine. Okay. But speaking about the customs matters, the customs officer, let me see, some of the questions that came, one of them said customs should be doing more sensitization to ease the frustration of the people who are not aware of most of their operating procedures. Another issue is this, the barrel exemption period. People use it to bring in goods for sale. And another said, yes, using the 2 barrels per household rule, how is this dealt with? A third person commented that it is impossible for customs to check every passenger, and the police officer who had messaged or called to say otherwise is wrong. And on Monday was International Customs Customs Day. One person wanted to know whether these customs charges are the same in the OECS, because a caller seemed to think that it is in St. Lucia that the prices are so high. All right, let me see. Okay, so some of the answers that the customs inspector sent back, I think her name is Antonia Alcindor, if I remember. One of them is that carnival bands are given concessions on items, especially those who build costumes locally. Obviously, those items are and cannot be used in over 90% of the instances. So why then are we still charged the high rates that we are? Okay, so now I'm going to the answers. What I can say on this is that the government gives concessions during carnival on imports. However, we apply the concessions, but we can't tell the bands how much to charge. And she says, regarding the thing about sensitizing people as to the rules, I agree with the sensitization. This is something we really need to do. However, we have no way to determine how many barrels go to which household. Another question she answered, she says, the import duty is based on the harmonized system. That's the person who asked whether it's the same throughout the OECS. It is based on the harmonized system which is used throughout CARICOM countries. As it relates to the other charges, I don't know what their percentage rates are. Their VAT could be higher or lower than ours, but import duty is the same. So there is harmonization in import duty. But for example, VAT, some countries, I think, have VAT at 17%. Generally it's 15%. But remember, the Alan Chastney administration lowered our VAT from 15% to 12.5%. So there would be variations in that. And another question, she says, it is not possible to check every person with the same level of scrutiny. That's when you come in and custom searches, your bags or whatever you're bringing in. With the same scrutiny. If we do so, we won't make it to our homes. That is why I mentioned profiling and intelligence. But to answer somebody's question, we do examine tourist bags. Okay? Somebody had commented that when we go overseas, we follow all the rules. It's only when we're in St. Lucia we don't want to follow rules. Well, that is a principle, I think, that is called familiarity breeds contempt. That which we are most familiar is that which we are most easy to disrespect, our own, the boys who grow up or in the same hood as us, who the hell is met for, he becomes a policeman, we feel we don't have to even let him stop us or talk to us, much less to accost or detain us. We have this kind of disdainful, contemptuous attitude towards those we are familiar with. So I can understand why people will want to make it believe that St. Lucia is the worst place, but when they go overseas, they fall in line, Yeah, they do fall in line. All right, let me see this. Regarding the concession for farmers returning home, I want to get the information. Then she comes back and says they get 100% import duty on their used personal effects. They also get 100% import duty on need items, including their tools of trade, with a value up to $10,000. All right. I remember there was a ceiling, just couldn't remember how much. However, they have to pay all the other taxes. So thank you very much, Antonia Alcindor, Customs Inspector, for helping us with a lot of the answers to those questions. Now, I think I saw a call coming in on the landline. I'm sorry about that. I am taking the calls now. So you can try again. You can call again. The number of the landline is, of course, 4533911. That's our local landline number. And you can also WhatsApp call us. It's working on 487-9849, right? 487-9849 is the number for the line on which you can WhatsApp call us. And you can call us on the landline 4533911. Just about 1:15, so lots of time to take your calls. Please go ahead and bring it on, bring them in, and we'll be interacting until 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's the final Thursday, of course, of the month of January 2026, and thereafter next week Thursday will be in February territory. 4533911. Okay. Let me say a special good afternoon to the founder, to the owner, to the CEO of the MBC Group of Companies, Dr. Almus McDowell. Hope you're having a good day, sir. I think, did I hear that yesterday was Dr. McDowell's birthday? Yeah, I think so. I think either yesterday or it was Doc's birthday. So, if I missed that one, someone mentioned it to me, Doc. Happy birthday to you, the very best. I think when I came back here and you told me your age, I actually complimented you and said whatever it is you're doing something well to be at that age that you told me and to be looking so much in shape, so good, so young, and so on. So whatever it is you're prescribing for people, if you're taking it yourself, I think it's a good testimonial that it is working. Maybe I might come to you for some of that because you look in quite good nick, in quite good shape, in quite good touch and so on. You can easily pass for an athletic sportsman at that age, which would be 4 years more than when I asked you. I won't say your age on air or what I believe to be your age because it may have been something confidential that you confided in me, and I'm not one to betray confidences. So if it's belated, if it was yesterday, belated happy birthday to you, Dr. Almas McDowell. All right. It takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of determination, commitment, conviction for a man who's a healthcare practitioner, to invest in a media company, which we know, if you know the struggles that you can have in them, sometimes it takes a lot of faith to keep going. And for you to have done that, Doc, for something which is kind of, we would say, outside what your core business of healthcare provision was concerned, it means that you are a man, you're very adventurous, you believe in taking on ventures, including risky ones. And I do hope that if it hasn't come already, that the day will come when you will get your just and due rewards for this. We have our first caller, Real Issues. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Hi, good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
Yes, yeah, I'm good. I'm sending belated to the doc on his birthday. I wish him best of health and everything else. And I also want to send birthday wishes to Frances Rob. I say Frances Rob is very popular. Everybody was calling to wish happy birthday today. Yes. And thanks for keeping us in a know, Shelton. Yes, I was listening to the program and I learned quite a bit in that short space of time.
About what, huh?
Yes. About all the custom stuff, because I always was asking myself, because I travel often, and when I come, sometimes I think my space almost like a PJ, where I think the things I have, it's not worth for me to pay all that, but I say, so be it at the end of the day, I know the government have to make their money, they have to pay civil servants and all that, so, but I query sometimes, I find sometimes, depending on the cost.
Okay. You still there? I'm not hearing you like you break off.
Pardon me?
Yeah, your Wi-Fi seemed to have wobbled a little bit, and I wasn't hearing you for a few seconds.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I was just saying about the custom charge and duties. I find sometimes, they go a little overboard. Yes. Okay. I find sometimes I'm being paid too much. Yeah, it's been a little unfair. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. So whatever they ask, I will pay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I believe his Wi-Fi has dipped.
It's been going very good. That it started on a good note, so I want them to continue. Yes. Okay, Shelton, have a good one.
All right, thanks. You as well. All right, now I saw the landline flashing a while ago, but as usual, sometimes when I'm in the middle of a sentence, I like to finish it, and then I add another sentence and another one. So whoever you were, sorry about that. I should have taken your call, maybe even put you on hold. But by the time I was about to do that, you lost. So you can call again, 4533911. The line is clear. Thank you, Gaspar, for acknowledging. He says, thanks, Ro, for the representation. And he gives me, a jam. Thank you very much for that, Gaspar. It's always quite encouraging. Thanks also, brother, that I think I can acknowledge. That is Brother Inch, Kingsley St. Hill, who says, well said about Tim, TP. He is entitled to be flambeau to the bone in much the same way as you are labor to the bone. The Polio Jolliffe family from Bellevue Vieux-Fort was and is predominantly flambeau in much the same way as some well-known families in Dennery, Mico North and South. I'm glad you reached out to him. By the way, he is back on his radio talk show, Newspin. So, best wishes to him if he's back, proving that. Okay, we have a caller coming on the landline. Hi, Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Shelton.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
Yes. Hello.
Are you okay? You sounding like you
No,
know.
I'm not okay. I'm not too well for a long time.
Okay, all right.
I just calling you to let you know something. Somebody always mentioned the name and I always listen to you.
Somebody always mention whose name?
You that mentioned the person's name.
Ah.
The person is my first cousin. The really Forest.
Okay. Oh, he's your first
you
cousin?
You mentioned his name. Today I hear you already.
Yes.
But I'm living in Grace. We are two sister daughters. Two sisters. He's my first cousin.
Okay.
Today is my birthday. But I'm not too young, I'm only 2.
Oh, today is your birthday?
Yes.
Okay, well, happy birthday to you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. I hope whatever health challenge you have that you'll get better soon. I said I hope whatever health issue you have that it will get better soon.
Yes, but I cannot do nothing for myself.
Okay.
I only in the house.
Okay.
Only 2 little dishes. I wash into dishes.
So you have people to help you?
Cook. I cannot really cook nothing like that. Yes.
But you have help. You have people to help you.
Yes, I have my daughter.
Okay. I'm glad to.
She's doing a lot for me.
Okay.
Yes, she's doing a lot. I can boast her.
So what's your name, may I ask?
My name is Lauren Wells.
Is what?
Lauren Wells.
Lauren Wells.
Yes.
Okay, Lauren. Okay.
Yes, my husband passed away already.
Okay.
It will be 7 years.
Oh dear. Okay. Is that what got you sick? Missing your husband?
No, sick before that.
All right.
But when he died, I thought I was going to get better.
Okay.
But a few days I was working well, I was doing everything. But when it was a few days again, the sick come back on me.
Okay.
It's when I stand up and I walk in. I sit down, I will. I lie down, I will.
Okay.
But so long I stand up for me to walk, there's the pain is.
Okay.
So anyway, that's God's sickness. You cannot do nothing about it.
Yes. Well, Lauren, it's nice hearing from you. Okay, thanks for calling.
I only hope, I don't know if he'll really hear me, but I don't really.
No, Hilary and his wife. Hilary and his wife, they listen to the program every day. And if they don't listen to it right away because they're busy, they always go back and listen to it.
Yes, I always hear you mention Hilary name.
Yes.
Today I said you it there yesterday.
Yes.
Because I listen to you every day.
Okay.
I'm not missing one program of yours.
Yes.
Every day I sitting down there watching the TV, listening to you. It's when it's 2 o'clock I finish, just like you.
Okay.
Yes, for a long time I there listening you every day. You and Yadi.
Okay.
And Richard.
Okay. All right. Well. All the best then. Okay.
You too. All the best.
Yeah. Please call again some other time.
Yes, some other times. I call you once already.
Okay, but I just didn't know who it was.
Once already.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Lauren. So long, eh?
Yes. You too. Have the rest of the day.
All right. Good.
Okay.
All right. We are taking your calls. 487-9849 and 4533-911. I think we're getting another call already. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, Sheldon, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
Sheldon, I just want to draw a little reference to respect to when you go up north, that almost the same area what we had this fatal accident of Mr. Clark.
Yes.
And Sheldon, you realize that's not the first person that died in that area.
I'm sure there would have been others. We just
I remember sometime, maybe a couple years ago, some vehicle that was bound going south end up knocking this very medium barrier, because that one is a lower version. And I believe that is a menace. That should be replaced. Because the whole idea is, if you have a problem, that medium barrier keeps you on your side. Now, what could happen is if you're driving, and that road is perhaps one of the most dangerous pieces of road we have on the island. It makes no room to maneuver to escape any accident. So the driver could as well be going now on his front tire. And if your front tire knocks that low concrete, whatever it is there, I don't know. I don't even know who gave the idea, who thought of putting that there. That steering wheel could literally easily leave your horn and you could run next side. and you could cause havoc, and you could kill somebody. And I remember that's exactly what happened to the previous person. You know, you remember some time back, even right there, almost at the end of Sandals, they had that same medium barrier was stripped.
Yeah.
And a guy, a gentleman that was, I think it was on a Friday, he was going down south, he was going to town, and he kind of, and that is the point I'm making again. There's no room to maneuver on that road. Now, when you have speed and you go out of control, that particular piece of work they have from Sandals to Shaw should be replaced with fixed, permanent, decent, legal. To me, that's illegal. That was already narrow. You cannot even escape anything. You're literally in a prison there. And it could as well be this driver's tire could have knocked that edge. If that happened to you, Shelton, don't ask that to happen to you because you would have no control. That's going to pull your steering, and whatever is coming the opposite side, you could run into it. And the Ministry of Infrastructure have to look into that. Too many people have died.
Do you believe that they left that low lane divider instead of the full median barrier there, because you have so many cows, and if you block the whole way, that the cows might end up finding themselves in the road more often and, disoriented?
Well, guess what? I think I'd rather a human life than a cow life because what I'm saying there to you, it could have been a good.
I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm just saying, if you block the whole thing, where the cows can't pass.
I'm just showing you the damage, the danger in it. Your steering, your tire could knock that. Look as because it is low, your vehicle will just most likely climb over it. And it has happened, and I don't know what caused this last one there, but I think that should be replaced with 6 heavy concrete block.
Okay.
That's my point.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Let me release that. 487-9849. You can WhatsApp call us on that number, and you can also use the landline, which a couple of people have succeeded, so I know it's working. And that is 4533911 is the number to dial. We'll very soon be going into our final commercial break, and then after that, in the home stretch of the final half hour, going up to 2 o'clock, Real Issues on the 29th of January 2026 is in progress right now. Make the most and the best of it. With me, Shelton Daniel, alongside the technical operator, Jaquan, who's keeping things rolling along as smoothly as we can. Now, let me see if I can get the Real Issues on the Facebook Live. Maybe I can acknowledge some of the people there. I tend to, a lot of times, forget them, or when I do think of them, the program is already going. Now, let me see if I can get... Now, how did my volume get to be up here? One of these days, this thing's going to embarrass me, All right, tap to join the live. That's what Jaquan told me to do. Live chat, top comments. All right, so let me see. Good afternoon to several of the people who I can see on the Facebook Live. Maria Bonaparte, who says, I worked for him at First National Insurance in the VA4 branch, and I believe she's talking about the late Mr. Noel Cadas. Jude Pokes Harlow, thank you very much, who says, big up yourself, Shelton Daniel and Hilary Lesporis. Thank you very much. He adds one love to all. Maria adds, I think pertaining to First National, my brother had a policy for 23 years. When it failed, paying $295 monthly, that's a big loss. I know the brothers Alan, Joe, and Noel. There are 2 others and a sister, Cassandra. All right, I think she talks about when the insurance failed. That's when it lapses, as they say, when you stop paying it. That's one of the harsh realities of insurance. You pay. The day you stop paying and the insurance lapses, all what you pay is gone. I don't think there's the option, or if there is a special policy where a portion of what you've paid can be converted into a savings, but generally you lapse and you lose, and it's lost. Stephanie Cauldron says condolences to the Cadas families. I think that's appreciated. Anna Rosa Nimoni says, I haven't heard or seen Mr. Oje on the live as well. I think she's talking about Mr. Mahoney Oje, who has not been in the best of health. But I think from time to time he makes a comeback, and the last time I heard that he was hospitalized, there was a comeback from him where he came and he commented, so he can be in and out, I suppose, of not doing too well, and then he improves. So let's hope that we will see him again, hear from him again, see him participating. Meanwhile, let's say a very pleasant good afternoon to his wife, Diane Auger, and other members of his family, like, Chris Auger and so many others, Dania Auger Stevens, Hermina Auger, and other members of the Auger family of the South to which he belongs. Kadas family condolences, says another person on the live. And Maria Bonaparte says, very well said, Shelton. Not exactly sure what she is referring to. We'll take in more of the comments shortly. What time is it now, Jaquan? Is it time for us to go for the break, or do we have a couple minutes left? All right. Okay, so we'll go for the break, and then when we come back, we'll continue taking your calls and going through more of the messages on the real issues.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
This one will be massive! Legacy 2026, the Independence Edition, Saturday, February 7th, 8 p.m., Rodney Bay Pavilion. It's the big war! Legacy presents one of the Caribbean's greatest artists ever, the undisputed queen of soca, Destra! Yes, Destra Garcia! Destra! Then our groovy giants, Teddyson John, doing his vintage set.
I must have a woman to come and wine up on me.
And King Alpha. Plus the outstanding St. Lucian cast, a mix of legends and rising stars. Ashanti, Educator, Desro, Manchus, Black Eye. Short pants and more. Legacy 26 will be an epic show. Saturday, February 7th, 8 p.m. Rodney Bay Pavilion. Limited early birds $120. Regular $150. Tickets available at Steve's Barbershop and The Way. Sponsored by Republic Bank, Massey Stores, First Citizen, IBS Solutions, Piton Bear, Crystal Clear Water, Flow, and the Independence Committee.
Come your way, come on again, find out.
McDowell's Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluffs. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The voice.
The real issues. We're into the final half-hour segment of today's program. We shut shop every day at 2 o'clock when the Lotto comes on live. Good afternoon to all Real Issues family. Mr. Shelton, everyone, have a wonderful and thankful Thursday. Westy Duet says that he or she is watching the Real Issues. Likewise, the Baton Relay. So splitting your time between the two, we understand, that can be a bit of a task. Thank you very much, just the same, for the time that you grant us. Another person says, when it comes to politics, I won't get angry if anyone who chooses to be Flambeau, Tikwang or Flambeau. I wonder if you'll feel that way if next time it's Tikwang or Marilyn Kanai Girard, good afternoon to you and also to your husband, Mr. Victor Girard. Haven't spoken to either of you for quite some time. I trust that you are doing okay. Hey Jude, nice you're back. Happy New Year. Peace and health always. To your family also blessings. I think she's talking about Pokes. I know her very well. Her husband had a minibus named Baby Star. Don't know if who that person is referring to. Juliana Joseph, good afternoon to you as well. And Peter Anius, who says, good afternoon one and all. Emphatic pronouncement, Shelton Daniel. Let's see what else he adds. Friends are friends regardless of political persuasions. And I'm telling you, I'm not categorizing people according to politics and like you can't see outside the bubble of politics, outside the box of politics. My friend, thankfully there are not many, but there are people, especially in my days at Radio St. Lucia, there were people who were supposed to have been appointed to board positions, to chairman position, to management positions, who were supposed to have been comrades, who were supposed to have been, and it turns out they just used that as a smoke screen that they could sneak in to have a go at me, to take a crack at me, which they had already predetermined from outside that Shelton Daniel needs to be dealt with. And so they came in pretending that they're the best friends and supporters of the powers that be. And later it turned out they were just, planting themselves inside there so they could go after me primarily and so on. And they did some nasty, vicious things to me, or attempted to. But at the end of the day, as Bob Marley sang, my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. I prevailed over every single one of them in every case. What they tried to do to me. Sometimes my back was to the wall. I didn't know how I would get out. I was called to meetings and, it was all looking bad for me. But in the end, I saw the back of every single one of them. I prevailed almost when I thought all was lost. That's why I tell you, have faith in God. Sometimes the way things are going, you will never believe that they will end up with you being victorious. Just trust in Him, obey, do what you're supposed to do. Sometimes you will feel what the Exodus Israelites felt like. In front of you is an impassable body of water. Behind you is a vindictive pursuing army. There is seemingly no chance, no hope, no way you can get out of that. What was the leader told when he was asked to raise his hands? That he needed 2 men on each side to help him hold up his hands. Be still and know that I am God. This is what I want to encourage you, because I didn't just read it in the book of Exodus. I have experienced it in my life. So when people who are supposed to be brethren and comrades can do the kind of things, the kind of conspiracy and so on. And even right now I'm experiencing people who are supposed to be my friends, who I call my friends for a long time, who are supposed to be comrades. I'm not going to say they think I don't know what's going on in the background with them. I am calm because I've been down that road before. I know what it is. As people love to say nowadays, I've seen the movie before and I know how it ends. So especially you, this person who's saying the nastiest, untrue things about me that you can find are still smiling at you, with you, for you, are still being nice to you, but don't think I don't know. It is because I have experienced escape and deliverance so many times before that I can have some more steadfast faith than I used to have in the earlier days, in my younger days, in days when I didn't have the benefit of those experiences. Continue saying all those nastiness about me. Continue trying to dirty everybody's perception of me and so on. I'm standing not because I am invincible or I am strong, because God is good and just and merciful, and He is pure, and He will vindicate those who believe in Him. And I ain't doing you back, I ain't going and say nasty things about you. I ain't dirtying you, I ain't retaliating. My deliverance cometh not from you or from my own actions. It cometh from the Lord. I have that faith, everybody who will hear what I'm saying, believe it, live it, and so on, and you will see good and the benefits of it all. Anyway, let me continue with the comments from the chat. Let me see. Bernadette Charles, good afternoon to you, as well as Wilma Amide. Stephanie Cauldron, we've mentioned her before. Solange Francois James, thanks for the good greetings. And Leandra Dorville, good afternoon, right back to you. Sabina Fontinel, maybe I've mentioned you, but Shelley Fanis, good afternoon to you, as well as Andrew Stanislas, Justina Gilbert, Roberta Jamari, and there is someone I don't think I have seen before, Rampi Vesta Jose, and he notes that I think he must be talking about Noel Cadas, was one of the founders of Cadas Bakery. I'm sure of that. I think it is the same family. Good afternoon to you, Donan Jean-Baptiste, and Brenda Calendar, who says, hi Shelton, hi to you, Brenda, as well. All right, what else do we have here? All right, I have to go look at the phone because it's a light that blinks that tells me when we have somebody on. A message coming via MBC Real FM says, hi, good afternoon. I enjoy listening to your program. Continue doing a great job. All right, thank you very much for that. Sometimes you struggle to believe that this is true. But whatever it is that is at work, endure it, stand strong, stand firm, do what is right. Don't be complaining about people being nasty and vicious and so on, and you yourself, you have your own evil ways in messing up people and plotting again. Don't be that, Like there's somewhere in scripture it says, I have washed my hands in innocence. Wash your hands in innocence, in the sense of you don't be doing evil things to people. Let them do you, but you don't do them. There is too much of that obsession with, I ain't letting people walk over me, I ain't letting people take advantage of me. No, this is not what the master said. Happy are you when people, use you and despise you and say every kind of evil against you. You don't be doing them. Let them do you. Your vindication will come from higher than you. Real issues. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, Shelton.
How are you doing?
Well, I'm holding tight. Because the guy where I'm living, I don't really have a water problem. That's Mac. So I get water every day unless they have to do some works up north. Something I wanted to ask you. That pond at the back of Caribbean Metals.
That what
who's really responsible for it?
What at the back of Caribbean? What at the back of? Hold on. What at the back of Caribbean Metals?
A pond. I think they had a quarry somewhere there, and then that thing filled up with fresh water. It's a very large pond.
Okay.
I don't know if you know about it.
No, I don't know. It's a long time I have not gone into the Caribbean.
Yeah, very beautiful pond, man.
Okay. So you're saying it's probably the excavation pit of a quarry?
Yeah, so I think Wasco can get water from there. It looks like groundwater from the river.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to find out about it. But there are certain ponds that industrial sites build, and they're what you call retention ponds, so that they can send the waste from, whether it is the metal manufacturing or whatever, they send it there so that it can sit there, and some sediment, whatever that they don't want to discharge into the general waterways, it can sit and settle at the bottom. You understand? As opposed, now, I'm not saying that's what it is. I don't know. But I'm saying sometimes they are what you call industrial retention ponds. And
but it's in front of Caribbean Metals, and they had a quarry. I was told that After digging, probably it came to the same level as the river.
Okay.
And it filled up because I think there is a tractor inside of that pond.
Okay, so it became almost like a well, a giant well.
Very huge thing.
Yeah, okay.
It's not a well, it's a...
No, you said it reached the same level as the bottom, at the riverbed. So probably the effect of the water now, rather than, water, it kind of behaves like a well.
Yeah, so the water stops maybe from the river.
But I'm sure Wasco would have certain standards and criteria, and they have to be careful as to where they locate, their water catchments, and draw water and so on. And I cannot see them using a water catchment area which is so far down, you understand? So much downriver and close to settlements and so on, and it can be done in the purification process and all, can take care of all. But most times I'm sure they would not prefer a so far downriver in an industrial site and so on to do that. Yeah. Okay, but that's a good idea and that's a good observation. Thanks. Yeah. Maybe I can inquire further into it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. People are very observant. And I kind of like that. If we have those areas, what can we do with it? Can we turn it, if it were not away from some industrial site, where you have to think about wastewater runoff and whether it can get into it and so on. In Antigua, there were quite a bit of such excavation pits and so on at quarries, and then they filled up with rainwater, and young people, who would love to go there. It's free pool and free pond. Sadly, in at least one occasion that I know, some boys from an area called Pigots were having a nice time in one of those excavation pits that had filled up with water, staying on the edge of it. It's almost vertical, and taking dives and shoots, as we call it, and one of them perished in the process. I don't know if he dove in and hit something, or it was just because they can be very deep. I don't know if they still do that, but it was in an area where there was the Burma quarry. There used to be a landfill there. They stopped the landfill, but the Burma quarry, very, very important. Sometime before I left, there was an ongoing strike action by quarrymen in that area. But Burma is close to the Pigots area, where I'm told that a lot of St. Lucians who went to Antigua have made their home there. I met a few of them. In fact, there was an area kind of like disco dance hall, how you call that, cockfighting pit and so on, where St. Lucians would gather and have a good time there. And so Burma was very close, and people used to, and not in that area, in other areas where there were excavation pits at quarries and mining sites and so on, that the young people would turn it into a pool, which I don't know why they would find the need to do that, because Antigua is reputed to have 365 beaches. It's a fairly small country. The beaches are nice. The water is clear. Most of them, it's unbelievably, lucid and beautiful and so on. So with that number of beaches, but there was another thing that was happening in the country about young people. If you have a construction site, and you are building a swimming pool, they would trespass on the property when nobody is there and the workmen are gone, and go and enjoy the pool. And when I saw it happen, and I knew the owner of one such property, and I told him about young people, he said, please, if they will chase them away, because the pool is being treated, and there are chemicals in this thing which, it can affect them. In some areas, we didn't know this was happening. If we knew, we would have put up barriers, because the chemicals that they use to treat pools and sanitize or whatever it is, those pool chemicals, they can be harmful. So I have to drain the pool and flush them out. So one day I saw them, I went, and the moment they saw me coming, they all ran away. So I waited. They went to be in wherever the nook and cranny to peek out at me, and then they came back again. And then when they saw me, I said, "No, you all have to stop that. This can cause you all to go blind, and you all can be." They kind of left. I believe they came back, And now the funny thing is that this is happening in an area of Antigua, where a very nice beach, one of the nicest beaches, Fort James and Runaway Bay and Dickinson Bay and so on, are very nearby, close by, very nice beaches, one among some of the most popular beaches in the area, at the back of the Port Authority and the Villa area and so on, where I used to live. Very close by, that they could easily go there, but they go, and later on I heard that, this was happening in areas more inland, where people, were trespassing on people's properties, mostly young people, and going in there to go and enjoy their pool and so on. I think a couple of them got accosted, by the police and so on, because when you go trespassing, you might see something else that you want, and then you might decide to go grab something and so on. So this was happening. Okay. All right. Let me see. Okay, when we're on Zafin, it's a question of people call and they don't seem to hear you, so they keep saying hello, 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 and you're answering them. Real issues. It's sometimes the light blinks and you don't really see it, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Right. Okay, people. I don't know. I heard Marco Rubio giving testimony before the U.S. Senate and whatever it is. And the guy is talking with an arrogance as if it is normal and it is acceptable and they have the right to go into Venezuela and to take over the people's country and to capture Maduro and to control the oil. And I'm saying, my goodness, what has the world become? Wasn't all this rules-based thing, wasn't that why America mobilized half the world to go and fight against Iraq? Because Iraq had invaded Kuwait and had taken over and was plundering the country, and they were doing this and that and the other and so on. You went and fought the Gulf War, the first Gulf War, to expel Saddam out of, I don't know, but you yourself can just go into a country, abduct the leader and say that you are running the country and you're taking over and you'll control the oil and you'll sell the oil and you'll decide. I mean, what is going on in our world? But then again, we are accustomed. Now you want to go, you who said you wanted to end this interventionist habit that America had of playing the world's policeman. There is some internal discord in Iran. You're now moving sizable military assets, carrier strike group and submarine and this and that, and activating your bases to go and fight against Iran because of what they're doing to their people and so on. Well, how come you didn't move any assets to go and stop Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu from killing 70 to 80,000 people because of 1,300 Israelis that died in a Hamas attack, and the attack was, you didn't care whether it was Hamas fighters, whether it was women, whether it was children, whether it was elderly, hospitals, all of that, schools you bombed to smithereens, and so on. You did nothing to stop that, but now you want to go and bomb Iran so that they can stop slaughtering their own people. Now, when you bomb them, how many of the same people you're going on their behalf to rescue from their evil government are going to die? You're going to bomb them and civilians not going to die? Just like that? I don't know. Crazy, crazy, crazy world, as Lucky Dube sang. We have a call on the line. Real issues. Hello.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
It's the very, very first time I ever call. I'm listening every day.
Speak up a bit for me, please.
I am listening to you every day.
But this is the first time you were moved to call.
And that's the first time I will make a call.
Okay, why is that? Why what moved you to?
I don't know. I just like to listen.
Okay.
Yeah, but congratulations to you. Be strong in the Lord.
Thank you.
And in the power of His mind.
That's true. Thank you.
Because regardless of what you try to do to you, you will overcome. So continue to be strong.
Yes, indeed.
And continue to do what you're doing, whatever that you're doing. Continue to do it.
Oh, yes, I hear Ephesians.
Please, man.
I hear Ephesians.
But you're pleasing yourself and also people who are listening to you.
Yes, I was saying I hear Ephesians in your encouragement. Finally, brethren, go on, acquiring strength in the Lord and in the mightiness of His strength, to put on the whole suit of armor.
Yes, in the power of His might.
Yes. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, to continue in that. Okay?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
So take care. Have a blessed afternoon.
All right, you as well. Okay. All right, 487-9849. That is the number on which this lady just called. That's the line on which you can WhatsApp call us. So call us on this, on if you're calling from overseas, especially on the WhatsApp line. It's 758-487-9849, and you can call us on the landline number, which is 4533-911. Again, what is it about the internal affairs? It's horrible when you hear about people being killed, 200,000, 100,000, the numbers keep being, nobody knows if the numbers are being exaggerated, that this becomes a pretext for you to go and intervene in the internal affairs. I'm not saying that you should leave a people to the mercy of a government that has army and all that at its disposal. But why is there one rule for the Medes and another one for the Persians? Well, what the Iranians were known in times past, Israel and Netanyahu could have done this kind of heinous thing. You are the ones supplying them with all those. Anyway, let's take a call. You're on the air, caller. Go ahead.
Hi, Shelton. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you.
I don't know if you are aware of the latest development that is taking place on the island as it relates to Uber, who's trying to make a presence on the island.
Yes. I got a press release from, I think, somebody who may be representing Uber here, and I'm trying to see if I can get an interview arranged and organized. Yeah, but go ahead.
I am appalled and I am very surprised. I cannot say emphatically that the government has given license to Uber to operate on this island.
Okay.
But I think what we need as tour operators, I'm involved in the taxi sector.
Okay.
I think we need a little bit more clarity as to what is happening, because without proper information, we are left to make a lot of speculation. Okay, now my big concern is not just about the taxi sector where I'm involved. It also has to encompass the public transportation sector as well. And we would have learned, as a government and as citizens of this country, we would have learned and understand what Uber has done in other countries, where in New York they have destroyed and the yellow cab ordinary persons who are involved in taxi. Okay, so I am very, very concerned as to what is happening. It is tough for us already, where we can barely make a bread on this island doing taxi. The cruise ships are coming in. The big companies like Cox and Company and Foster Inc., they are the ones who are pulling all the numbers with all the coasters and what have you. And we are left with the breadcrumbs. So if Uber has to come here, I think it's going to worsen the situation. So we need to have something from the government as it relates to that, because this thing is going to destabilize the taxi association and also the transportation sector as well.
Okay. All right, my friend.
So we need to hear from the Minister of Tourism as to what is happening, what has gone through, whether they have given license to Uber or whether Uber does not need a license to operate here, whether they can use their app or whatever it is. But certainly we need to get to the bottom of this thing and to find out what is happening.
Okay. All right, my friend. Thank you very much. I can't add anything because my knowledge about it is definitely not greater than yours. But thanks for sharing your concerns.
Thank you very much for taking my call.
All right. Okay, we have a caller. This may be our last on the WhatsApp line. Bernard Haynes, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. But freezing, brother. Woo!
Okay, all right. Okay. The time is tight, so make the best use of it.
I just wanted to correct you. I know you're a man. I know you're a man that's better than that. When you using the scriptures, read it right. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of the might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. Bon, I'm quote scripture quote bien.
Okay, Madika Ridley from Mumbai. Moi just recall it from tête moi. So moi bien content. So moi bien content là non deacon là pour set moi on the right path.
Oui. Bon, I'm telling quickly. Moi ça prend tight, but quickly. By Uber, I don't know why Lucian is Uber, but I will tell you that a young man in Soufre from the Gassi family of Belfort has already launched a ride share in St. Lucia. And if people are interested, they could go to Google Play Store and get Horizon rides. It's just like the Uber. So I I mean, if we really want to do that, let's give the young people in St. Lucia, the young entrepreneurs, the chance to develop. Uber quasi transportation system taxi ici en New York, et you can faire ces drivers travailler by you at cheap. Nobody has it easy. We can't let the conglomerates come and take everything we have. Même si you got a job as a taxi driver, you can drive more. But tout là, c'est Uber qui paye. So, I for one, I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't think Uber should be in television.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for sharing your view on that with us. And I think that'll do it for us on the real issues for this Thursday. God willing, all things equal, we'll round up the week tomorrow from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on radio station Real FM, on the NBC television, and on Facebook and YouTube live streaming. Until then, on behalf of technical operator Jaquan, Shelton Daniel for the real issues powered by Blue Waters signing up.
For the midday draw of Thursday, 29th January 2026 will double daily grand 12, 17, 19, 22. Big 4, 3, 9, 3, 4. Big for multi-X FP. Pick 2, 1, 8. Pick 2 multi-X 2X. 1 off 0, 3, 9. Lucky 3, 8, 5, 3. Lucky 3 multi-X FP.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts,